The legendary coach at Alabama, Nick Saban, testing positive for the coronavirus. He is experiencing very mild symptoms and has begun the quarantine process. He will not be available to coach in the Iron Bowl this Saturday against Auburn. Here is Nick Saban yesterday.
I have confidence in our coaches and our players that, they'll be able to do what they have to do. I mean, we all got to live with the consequences of what happens, whether I'm standing there or not. So that's something I hope everybody realizes.
All right, so that's Nick Saban. Here are Paul Finebaum and Heather Dinich. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. And Heather, let me start with you. What more can you tell us about where Alabama goes from here for this game without Saban?
Well, Greeny, they go to offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian. He's going to handle most of the day-to-day head coaching responsibilities in the football building. He'll call the plays on Saturday against Auburn. Nick Saban will be at home as he has been isolating for at least 10 days per CDC guidelines. He'll be participating in team meetings and everything through Zoom, as he did the last time he had a positive test, although last time it was a false positive. This time is for real, so he's had a bit of practice with this, but he's got confidence in Sarkisian, who has been a head coach before.
Now, Paul, we look on the screen there, we see the number. I mean, Alabama's a 3-touchdown favorite and then some. But crazy things happen in rivalry games, and that's what this is, a rivalry game. How do you think his absence impacts this game?
Greeny, I don't think it's going to have a big impact. And yes, this is a rivalry game. This is the Iron Bowl. And remember, Gus Malzahn, the Auburn coach, has won 2 out of the last 3 against Nick Saban. Find someone else who can make that statement, outside of Clemson, South Carolina. But beyond that, they have confidence in Sarkisian. As Heather said, he's been a head coach at Washington, at Southern Cal. They've already been through this drill before. And I think that's the one thing that's helping them. And also, the last time it was against Georgia. And at that point, before we knew Saban was coming back, Alabama had not played that well. Their defense was shaky. The defense has really turned it up many, many steps right now. So there's a much higher degree of confidence going into this game at home.
I think the overwhelming expectation is that Alabama wins the game, and perhaps comfortably. But Heather, in this scenario where Auburn pulls off what would be an enormous upset without Nick Saban on the sideline, what would be our best indication of how the people who make these college football playoff decisions view that, the absence of the coach?
Well, I think it's the same thing as the absence of Trevor Lawrence when Clemson lost to Notre Dame in double overtime. And you see what the selection committee did with them with 1 loss just this Tuesday night, putting them ahead of undefeated Ohio State. I think the path would be similar, and so would the deliberations in that committee meeting room. They know what the team is missing without Nick Saban, just like they do Clemson without Trevor Lawrence. So I don't think it would hurt them in the big picture. Alabama would still have a chance to win the SEC, and I think that they would be right on track, even with a loss, same as Clemson.
Well, there's no better way to gauge these kinds of things than by the callers on the Paul Finebaum Show. What have you been hearing from the folks down there, Paul?
Greedy, they were remarkably calm yesterday when the news broke, and you juxtapose that with 5 or 6 weeks ago when it was literally panic. Remember, that first Saban positive test, which turned out to be negative three tests later, really shocked the Alabama fan base. Yesterday, maybe their minds were on Thanksgiving, I don't know, but they were unbelievably calm for a fan base in the South.
All right, guys, it's so good to see you. Thank you for everything you do for this show all the time. Heather, we spoil first your vacation over the summer, now we spoil your Thanksgiving, but thank you both. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.